really enjoyed Jules Bass and Arthur Rankin Jr.'s films, particularly their Christmas films, so I was really looking forward to The Year Without a Santa Claus. This sounded really fascinating, and I have to say, not only is it an interesting concept, but it's a pretty great execution as well. This was released originally in 1974, directed of course by Bass and Rankin Jr., and written by William J. Keenan and Phyllis McGinley. And we have great voice acting, including Shirley Booth as Mrs. Well, she's credited as Mrs. Santa on IMDb, and Mickey Rooney as Santa Claus. And one year, Santa decides to take a holiday, and the day he decides to go on holiday is Christmas Eve. And needless to say, that's not a great idea. And the elves and Mrs. Claus try and help him to see that that's not a good idea, but things don't go according to their plans. So the elves try and save the day, including with Vixen, the reindeer. And I don't want to say any more than that about the narrative because it is quite a fascinating, unique concept. Certainly, I've never seen a film or read a story that's anything like this. I've seen films about Santa's taking a holiday, the brilliant film Father Christmas, for example, also a story, a book, but it is certainly very different. I think it's a great narrative development, quite surprising in places. Love the animation style. I love the design of the characters, but in particular, I love the street scenes. There's just such great attention to detail to the buildings and the streets. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at. The characters are quite likable. It's an interesting kind of attitude to have towards Santa Claus because while he's entitled to a holiday, taking a vacation on Christmas Eve is such a horrific thing to do because he's setting himself up to disappoint billions of children. I don't know how many children there are worldwide, but many. And that's, it's not a good thing for Santa to do, but I don't want to dislike Santa because it's Santa Claus. So it's really quite an interesting journey emotionally, and, reacting to Santa's decisions is quite a fascinating experience, even as an adult, of course. And it's a really interesting journey. If you're a fan of Bass and Rankin Jr. in general, I think you'll really enjoy it. But if you've never seen any of their work, this is a really good place to start because the narrative is very fascinating, very creative. The animation style is gorgeous, and it's not too long. It's just shy of an hour. So it's not a big commitment if you, like me, have a short attention span. I think for younger viewers, it's the perfect length. It's not too short, but it's not too long. And there's nothing about it that I would have done differently. And I was really curious to see how I'd respond to Santa Claus in this. And I favoured Mrs. Claus, absolutely. But it was definitely an interesting experience. I can confirm it lived up to my expectations, really thoroughly enjoyed it, and absolutely recommend it.